stuff. So my understanding of what I've seen is that most of the people who actually power scale and at least know Dante are of the opinion Dante was shafted for this death battle. You're gonna want me to stream it to you, right?
Yeah. I've also seen a couple of people who don't power scale or don't know how. They're not particularly agreeing with the result either.
So from what I've seen so far, casuals and Reddit scalers are of the opinion this match was fine, the research was fine, and that DMC fans are just salty. But that one's not even fully just against DMC either. It's more of like a split situation. This was very clearly a matchup that, even if you agree with their research, it seems people aren't on board with their outcome regardless. So, I mean, I guess Dead Battle and everyone did a good job making this believe this was a close fight.
But the problem is it takes all of like 2 seconds to play like DMC, and even going through 3 alone, you can't have the opinion that Clive wins.
No, it's very much just a very weird way that this ended up happening the way it did. But you have Final Fantasy 16 fans on full blast. What?
You know what would have went over better? If they used Nero instead of Dante.
No, this really should have just been a matchup that fucking shouldn't. It shouldn't have been Dante. It just shouldn't have. But
No, it should have been Nero.
I'll say we'll give it another 2 minutes before we start up the video, or I guess the stream.
Because from the rhetoric that I've seen, we seem to be the only people championing the idea that it's a mental dimension. I haven't even seen anyone try and like fight against the idea. I don't even think people have even considered the idea.
I think the general consensus, and so I actually, you weren't here for the stream earlier, but when I double checked the description about Clive not taking damage, it specifically says when he wakes. So even the official logos book is implying that those other dimensions are dreamscapes because he has to wake up. I think people are just. I think people just see it beyond space and time and just accept it as valid.
But the problem is that, and this is where we have to drag people kicking and screaming, is something can say it's beyond time and space, but what does that mean in the context of being beyond time and space? Like, it's fine if you try and use it in a vacuum. You need way more like context, and when you have the context of 16, all that means is that it's just separated from the fucking like normal universe. Because that's all it means, is that you're beyond the reach of the current space-time.
Yeah, this is very much a weird case because the problem is that no one really repped Clive either. It's like Clive is one of those characters who I was always confused that he didn't have more of a power scaling scene to begin with. Because I don't even think VSB has made a page for him post this death battle.
No.
I think he's still pageless.
No, the 16 has been out for like 2.5 years, and they still haven't made a page for him. Every other Final Fantasy character has a page.
It is rather interesting that once everything's said and done.
Because I think for as many people who try it, I think there's a loud minority who say that 16 is fantastic and Clive's a good character, but I think the majority of people are just like, it was a super whatever game and Clive is a super whatever character.
I have to be of the opinion that that's probably correct because no one talks about 16. No one really reps 16.
He's usually like somebody from like a big franchise like Final Fantasy. If they get a new game, they're usually like the hot new thing to talk about when it comes to power scaling. And even when 16 was brand new, he wasn't even a blip on the radar.
No, like it was very much.
No one gave a fuck.
It was very much a position of where he showed up, he did his thing, and he left. Now, I don't want to say 16 was forgettable, but like I
Out
don't
of all
even.
the Final Fantasy stories, it kind of is. Like, I like it better than 8, but 8's more memorable than 16.
Also, it's like I also can't help but wonder if maybe 16 was overshadowed by 7's remake situation.
Because they were released like really close to each other, weren't they?
Yeah, it was very much they were sort of back to back. So I can't help but wonder if maybe that's why 16 kind of because
You know what else didn't help it?
what?
It was crammed in the middle between Strangers in Paradise and 7 Remake.
Well, I was about to say, and then there's Strangers of Paradise, but I don't think that's a very good excuse because Strangers of Paradise is a very small game, and
Yeah,
also
but yeah,
it
but
didn't.
everyone loves Jack, and I've seen more people want Jack than want Clive.
That is true. That is true.
Well, it's also like we also know that it's not like a small thing either because Expedition like 33 is brand new, but that has a very like it's niche, but it's a big thriving power scaling scene. They're just waiting for more information, like we are.
So some of the French guidebooks have already started being shipped out. Mine should be coming in next month because I got the serialized version. Oh boy, I can't wait to get no information. So it's the price you pay when you buy guidebooks and art books. Sometimes you just don't get what you're looking for. You know, you can't be upset about it.
No, well, that's it. Like, not every art book is going to have like information that's going to like shape the world.
Hang on, fellas. All right. Well, we've only got a couple
Because
people so far, but that's fine. I'm not expecting. I mean, it is a bit of a weird time. I just wanted to give us more time in case we wanted to talk a little more about it.
I mean, like, I think 16's biggest issue is that it's a super overindulgent story where it's so far up its own ass that it's not funny. And when you step back and you look at Ultima as the main villain, he does nothing. He literally he has no agency throughout like the entirety of the story. He appears at the beginning, he appears very briefly in the middle, and then he is crammed in the end when they realize, shit, we actually have to make you care about Ultima.
I actually, I was actually gonna say, I think that was definitely Ultima's biggest flaw is that even though he's supposed to be a behind the scenes character, I understand that's what they were going for.
I know what they were
There
going for.
was
They were going for big big brained mastermind that's controlling
also a crossbow
everything behind
sketchbook.
the scenes, but that's not. But they did the trope wrong.
I saw your comment sketchbook. You can't hide from me. Yeah, they did do the trope pretty wrong. It was just not very well done. And again, it's just really fucking. Oh, looks like my food's done. So before we start, I'm just gonna grab my plate and get ready. Keep talking. I can still hear you.
No, like there's not really much to say about like 16 as a story. Like you don't even know what the main story is or what the main goal is until you're 14 hours into the fucking thing. And they have like 5 different like plot points that they just drop each one like in quick succession. It it's got nice lore, but when you look at it from an aerial perspective, it's a very shoddily done story. I think 16 would be handled way better if it was novelized. Because then, if it was in a series of novels going over 16, you would at least have enough time to go over each of the factions, each of the icons, and actually like care about each of the factions that are being shown. Because the problem with 16 is it has like 5 different factions and 5 different storylines that you're trying to follow, and you care about none of them because you don't spend enough time with any of the other icons to really care for them. And whatever time you do spend with Clive, he's the most boring protagonist you've ever fucking met. He is a charisma black hole, which is why characters like Sid, Gav, and fucking Byron steal the spotlight whenever they're on screen because they actually have personality.
No, right. But all right, we waited. Huh? Do you think they'll back down from this claim? No.
Fuck no. No, they won't back down from this claim. They have no reason to. Like, here's the thing. I guarantee you, even if you lived in Texas and you somehow accidentally ran into Ben or Chad, I guarantee you they'd give you the most political answer, which is like, we're just the voices at this point. We don't have any political agency of who wins.
Yep. Although I have seen some people accusing this matchup of being very fucking Clive favored. So
Well, it is.
we're
Well, it
about
is
to
because you have the entirety of like the Death Battle cast team who just gushes over 16 as a fucking game and Clive as a character. You have Torian who is blatantly wanted 16 to be in like for over 2 years. No, you have an entire team of people who are fully on board with having 16 win or having Clive win. And that's not to say that they don't like Devil May Cry. That's just to say that they definitely had one horse that they were backing way more.
oh hang on.
And that wouldn't even be an accusation. Like, that's true. Like, you can... For as impartial as Mangler and I try and be, you can... There's no true impartiality when it comes to a versus match. You can definitely tell what horse we're backing, even though we're trying to call it down as middle as humanly possible. It's human nature. You can't stop that.
Yep. Everyone has a bias, but the point you're trying to do is be as honest about the position as possible. So,
But
now
the
that
thing
we're
is
saying
that...
this, people will join, and people have been leaving more often. You got any final thoughts before we start?
Well, the final thought on that is like, while others will try and tell you that they're being impartial and down the middle, us three as power scalers will tell you, well, more you and me than Mangler, but we'll absolutely say, yeah, we have a little bit of bias going into this matchup because we like this character more. Does that mean we're going to shaft the other character? No. Are we going to look as hard as we did for one character? Probably not, but we wouldn't even see it that way. It's just one of those unconscious things.
Also, before we start, which is about to be now, I will say, while Death Battle will not go back on this result based on community feedback or anything like that, hello, Unoriginal, I will say if Logos drops and it debunks any of the major positions in this Death Battle, I do believe they will say something about that and just say that new information made the verdict wrong. No mention of fear hacks. I haven't even seen it yet. So, gentlemen, let us begin. Good animation already. I'm really excited.
Dante versus Clive. DMC's Devil Hunter versus Final Fantasy.
Wait. I already got a problem. Why aren't we mentioning his last name? It's Clive Rossfield. What? Why doesn't he get his full name?
Because he's boring enough as it is. A singular name will do.
Bro.
Could you imagine if they did that? It's not anything cool like Sting or Slash Clive.
Oh no, it's Clive. Osmeridan's regeneration policy, they'll ignore that before long. Remember Omni-Man versus Bardock? I do. Oh, do not tell me this is Omni-Man Bardock level. Oh, don't say that.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick. And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle. It's a dangerous world out there. Cultists, demons, and evil businessmen lust for power.
Okay, spoilers.
This battle covers spoilers for DMC 5. The game has been out for nearly a decade. What spoilers?
Alright.
You might as well tell me it's containing spoilers for Devil May Cry 1.
This is worse than G1 blog. We'll find out about that. To be fair, I feel like that's supposed to be a cheeky statement. I don't think that's meant to be taken literally.
This world may seem like the end, but for a devil hunter like Dante, it's party time. Who'd expect anything less from the son of the legendary demon Sparta? A dark knight who, thousands of years ago, woke up to justice and sealed away the demon lord, Mundus. But then Sparta mysteriously died, and his wife got iced by some demons, leaving Dante and his brother Vergil separated. Despite a long-gone family, Dante kept a chipper attitude and set up a business dedicated to one thing: killing demons! And with the blood of Sparta running through him, he's the best in the business. By harnessing his own demonic energy.
All right. Dante, Tony Redgrave, Species Human Demon Hybrid, Pizza Sundays, Nero Parties, Demons Mundus, The May and Zero May Cry. And Ultima was Capcom 3 reference.
Dante bolsters his speed, power, and durability, letting him block kaiju-sized punches, move faster than a meteor, and
I believe that's supposed to be the best team
like an
in the game.
unstoppable force of nature. As long as he has the energy, he can heal from getting shot, stabbed.
Okay, so
Do you want to go over this? I was going to say, do you want to go over this misconception again, just super quickly?
Well, I'm not quite sure where the healing factor comes from. Hello, Jeremy. I'm not sure where the healing factor misconception comes from, where it's tied to stamina.
No, they just connect that to Arkham's statement, how Vergil was so beat up that I can even do this to you. That's literally their connecting tissue, is that they think that them being tired connects to their healing factor just off that scene.
I was going to say, because here's the problem. They're still fully, their bodies are healed. They might get tired, and I'm not gonna dispute that position. They can get tired, but that doesn't mean their healing factor stops. It's not that Vergil isn't in peak condition. He's just tired at that point.
I'm just gonna quickly go over this now. If you are going over a series and they have a healing factor, you would never assume that their healing factor is tied to their stamina unless it is stated or is shown that it's tied to it. You never make that assumption off nothing.
Especially because literally later in DMC3, you have Vergil. So for context, Jeremy's just trolling, so don't take him too seriously. But in the same game, they get run through with blades.
But we will say now, if Jeremy gets out of hand, we will probably boot him, because there's having fun, then there's being a pain in the ass.
I'm sure he'll be fine. I thought he's not gonna start any fights. He's just gonna be repping.
I mean there's, you can have your fun, but have it to a point. Don't go overboard throughout the entirety of the stream. Otherwise, we'll have no qualms for fucking kicking you out just for the sake of levity. Because we're not going to have to fight you the entire time.
Kyle's watching Jeremy right now with red fucking eyes.
No, not red eyes. I'm just not in the fucking mood for people's bullshit.
No, that's fair. But yeah, I'm going to have to clean this up later.
If you have legitimate questions, ask legitimate questions. But if you're just here to start shit just for your own entertainment, go elsewhere.
Anyways, so continuing back. Even within the fight that you would reference, where Arkham talks about them being injured, Dante and Vergil cleave each other. Actually, what the fuck am I saying? I can show you guys right now. Might as well fucking.
They're still cutting each other in that cutscene.
Don't make cry. Oh, hang on. I put Mary. Vergil Battle 2. Give me a second. Hang on. Okay. So keep in mind, they are constantly cutting each other at this point.
Sorry, but this is no.
At the end of the, I was like, where they cut themselves right now? That's right, it shouldn't matter at this point. My apologies. Again, so as you can see, they fall to their knees and they're tired, but they're able to be cut clean through with no issues.
I mean, if you want to, like, while we're here, show them fucking the ending scene where Vergil gets bisected in the third fight.
Sure,
just real quick. Like, so people don't think that we're a liar if they've never been through, like, Devil May Cry, because the healing factor is not tied to their stamina. That's... let's call it spade a spade. People have latched on to that argument because that's the only false hope that they have. If they don't have that, then most of the characters that people argue to fight Dante or any of the Spartans just can't do it. They can't overtax them.
Best case scenario you can argue for Dante, for like being Dante, as you see right there, Vergil gets bisected right there. Hang on.
Actually, if you want to go back, play it muted at like 0.5 times speed so people can see it clearly.
I mean, at that point, I feel like, I just feel like it's being a little silly. Like, hang on, but we'll go back. So just to be clear, so we got the scene right here. Dante moves in, and he cuts clean through Vergil. You see the splatter of blood, and we see the animation. By this point, Vergil is also exhausted. It's not tied to stamina. I don't know, man. I guess the sword through his fucking body was just not enough. I understand.
Well, this is also fresh off both of them fighting Arkham.
Yes.
And prior to this, Dante... So, the climb up to the tower, Dante's had to fight Doppelganger, go for a boss rush, and then fight Arkham, and then move on to Vergil. And Vergil seemingly fell down, probably all the way down to the floor of Timothy Grew, and just thought to himself, fuck this, I'm not doing that jumping puzzle. I'm just going to teleport up there.
So, to clarify, the healing factor is not tied to stamina. Can you tax their stamina and, like, tire them out? Yes, but that doesn't mean they are killable at that point. It just means they can't really fight back effectively. However,
Think more of the lines of like a Wolverine or a Deadpool. They can be exhausted, but if you kept shooting them in the head, they're not going to die.
Yes.
They'll be pissed off, but they won't die. They just won't be able to move and stop you.
Now, consideration what type of regeneration question? Demons regenerate from beyond their concept to BH because demons can exist without concept and just get it back over time. And souls are higher than names on DMC, making them concepts as well. Well, I'm assuming they're going to mention Nero's regeneration factor in this death battle, so we'll see.
If they don't, we'll go over the feat in Deadly Fortune.
Yes.
Even without his regeneration, he survived heat that would reduce the layman to ash. But no hunter is complete without an arsenal, and Dante's got one hell of a sword left by his dad, Rebellion. Plus ebony and ivory, 2 magic pistols with endless ammo clips. And they say the perfect gift doesn't
Dante makes the bullets, just to be clear.
exist. But Dante's full arsenal is far larger and stranger. Like King Cerberus, a shape-shifting set of elemental nunchucks. Cavalier, a pair of buzzsaws that are also a motorcycle. Balrog, fiery fisticuffs for boxing and capoeira. And Navan, guitar.
They're fine with basically giving him everything in his arsenal besides from Yamato.
No, this one's missing something else.
What's it missing?
It's missing Burial's rifle.
Again, that's only something like G1, I guess.
Well, so the thing is Dante, if I recall correctly, does get the rifle at the end of the novel. Even if he doesn't use it more than once, you would still give it to him because they also give him. Okay, no.
I guess they give him Kalina. They give him both Kalina and, so that's fair.
They gave him commands. They also gave him the needle gun for whatever reason. I think I saw the needle gun in here. Yeah, the needle gun, even though it only works in the water. But okay.
An electric guitar. There's also Lucifer,
Oh.
a back.
There's no mercy either.
What?
They've got Vendetta.
Well, they got
Oh no,
merciless.
no, it's just weird because some of this they've done in alphabetical order, and some of it they haven't.
Hang on. Yeah, they don't. No, they haven't done that merciless. Yeah, that's
guitar.
weird.
An electric guitar. There's also Lucifer, a backpack of endless laser swords that Dante got after slaying. Actually, we never see how he beat Lucifer. Yeah, you know.
Wait, Beowulf? Yeah, Beowulf's on here. Beowulf shouldn't be on here though.
Laser swords that Dante got after slaying. Actually, we never see how he beat Lucifer. Yeah, you know someone's a badass when they off-screened the actual devil. Then there's my fave, Dr. Faust, a sentient hat that turns Dante into basically Orville Peck. Oh, and shoots crystallized demon blood. Dante needed this and much more when he got a warm welcome from the brother he thought long dead. In a twist of fate, Vergil was alive, but went down a very
We're getting a bit of an echo.
Well,
Oh, are we?
Yep.
Hang on. Let me lower it a little bit.
Was partying, Vergil studied the blade, seeking the power he needed to exert his will, even if it meant killing his own brother. Something he came close to doing in their first meeting. But the defeat only spurred Dante's awakening. He learned to teleport using Trickster, slow down time.
Okay, so another misconception, and ironically enough, G1 blog actually saw this one and fixed it. Trickster does not teleport you. Trickster has high-speed movement, similar to how Clive's is. Are they using POC? No, but the footage from that was not POC. From what I understand, that is the pachinko machine. Yes. Hang on. Finish my food. Let me throw away my plate. All right, let's continue.
Time through Quicksilver and double team foes with Doppelganger. With a slick pose and the right.
Wait. He's gonna get gear, right? It's not just the weapons?
Timing, he can Royal Guard dang near anything, then use the absorbed energy to armor up as a dreadnought. And then there's Devil Trigger.
Oh, I'm not liking that already. Does he not get items? I think we should overthrow Zim. They say
if he's not
much.
If he's not going to get equipment, then you've cut half of his arsenal.
Hang on, let's continue. Let's see what they say here. Transformations. All right,
but if they're fully okay with gameplay of Royal Guard being used to block most of the attacks, then that means he can also Royal Guard Urizen's time bubbles.
Yes.
So there's no power that Clive has that he can't block.
Doppelganger, Dreadnought, just part of the styles. Royal Guard and Dreadnought are the same thing. Teleportation, regeneration, Quicksilver.
A super form Dante achieves through his supernatural.
Where's the corruption? Where's the precog? Where's the skill statements?
By tapping into
where's the fear manipulation?
Well, that's true. Let's see. Maybe
where's the existence erasure?
Oh, hang on. Let's see what they have to say. Maybe they'll
Naturally, his rematch with Vergil went very differently, and that was far from Dante's peak. When Mundus got up to his old tricks, Dante battled the Demon Lord in a vast sea of stars, a universe Mundus created on a whim.
Is that the Kaido Shinzo or nah?
The two people who would know will hear that statement wrong are not here, neither Devil or Manga.
Because I was gonna say, if this is Kaido Shinzo, it should say it's an infinite realm of darkness.
Even later, Dante one-shot a stronger alternate future Mundus who had completely merged with the demon world. So
okay, I'm actually gonna step in here and say that that's not technically true. Void Mundus, if I remember correctly, took multiple hits from Dante. Like it doesn't matter. it doesn't matter for like the purposes. I just want like I'm correcting misinformation more than anything else here, and I'm pretty sure Void Mundus took several gunshots and then a couple of Rebellion sword swings, so it was not a one shot.
No, it wasn't one shot.
What?
It wasn't a one shot, but seeming that they're going over cosmology, I know they're probably not going to, but this is where they should have brought up the Samsara, and show that like the demon world isn't just a universe; it's a multiverse.
They can't have the fear hacks sell across, so there's no fear hacks. But well, let's see. They haven't finished yet, but the manga and novel specify the human and demon worlds were once one, and they were split into separate universes. Okay, so as far as I know, the novels don't say anything about that unless the DMC1 novel does.
I think that they're more inferring from Two's novel and how Mundus broke down the barriers between the human and demon world.
True.
It's kind of a big deal. Literally, Mundus became a living universe just for Dante to shoot him in the face.
Then there's Argosax, a god so...
Okay, so to clarify, wrong again. This is Despair Embodied. Get it right, you fucking plebs.
Astronomically intense.
So, to be fair, that's not being nitpicky. They are technically two different entities.
Yes. Do you think Despair Embodied was easy mode? Well, let's see.
Then there's Argosax, a god so astronomically intense, he had the power of every other demon in existence, a divine deity of the sun that Dante also shot in the face.
Oh,
I don't think they understand how much shit that gives the Despair Embodied and how much that helps Dante with the fact of like margin form and everything like that.
Also,
because that would mean the Despair Embodied has every resistance shown in the series and will have in the series if it continues.
Yeah, because so the Beast Heads can see into the future, and the power of the Beast Heads are inferior to Demon Kings like Mundus. And Argosax was equal to Mundus even before becoming Despair Embodied. So you would assume that Despair Embodied has every power in the series going forward as well, given how powerful the Beast Heads were and how that was inferior to him. Now, that being said, they haven't mentioned Trinity of Fates yet, so to clarify as well, the Argosax fight was not an easy fight for Dante. This is a misconception based on the cutscene, but the official sort of like overview of the three games has video game footage of what these boss fights are supposed to look like more accurately.
With a cinematic camera to give you... It's not just them recording gameplay. They edited the camera to have a more cinematic experience so it acts like part of the cutscene.
Yes. It segues directly into the cutscene. It's very clearly how they interpreted the fight to be taken, and Dante has to use Majin Form's ultimate attack to break Argosax this far, or Despair Embodied, my apologies. Despair Embodied does have duality nature. Like, it's fine if you want to say Argosax, Despair Embodied, like, I know who you're talking about. It's just someone in the comments tried to say I was wrong when I said Argosax and Despair Embodied were different beings. So technically the same being, but you would give them different names because they are referred to as different names. I think even in the 3142 guidebook, it specifically calls Argosax the Chaos and the Despair Embodied as separate names.
Yes.
Let's continue.
That Dante also shot in the face.
Oh, that guy! I completely forgot about him.
Funny, so did Dante. Despite how powerful Argosax was, he was just an insignificant Tuesday to Dante.
So it's safe to say Dante...
I was going to say, so what people need to understand when it comes to reference like that, because they try and trivialize him as some sort of weak demon, and they try and upscale like Beowulf and all that. No. Dante remembers Beowulf because Beowulf basically pile drive him into the fucking ground, and he has a bit of a beef against that because, believe it or not, Dante can't hold a fucking grudge. And he remembers Mundus because Mundus killed his family.
Yes, it's a very important thing to clarify that a lot of the demons Dante remembers were memorable because of something they specifically did, not because of how strong they were. Because Beowulf...
if you did something to him, he will remember, because despite his lax attitude, he is very capable of holding a grudge.
Yes. Despair Embodied is the true form of Argosax, but you would refer to him as, or you would refer to it as a different name, not Argosax, because Argosax is the base version, or I guess the previous, yeah, I guess base version would be the right way of saying it. Hello, Melissa. Hello,
They
man.
had become the strongest around. But no amount of style, pizza, or wahoos could fill the hole in his heart. Sure, Vergil was a power-hungry weeb, but he was still his bro. Beneath Dante's antics, killing the last of his family kinda messed him up.
Until he learned his family wasn't as gone as he thought. It turns out he had a nephew, Nero, who Dante would help get into the family business in his own unconventional way.
And for dead weight, Nero was pretty badass, even helping Dante take on the so-called Demon King Urizen. Nero's Devil Breaker arm
Moonitz and Dante flew into the atmosphere of a neighboring planet, though the time frame is unclear, and even generous estimates put it under his best. Even generous estimates put it under his best feats, because both are Argosax.
He didn't fly to. He flew throughout the entirety of the infinite cosmos that Mundus created.
More so concepts. They would still have different names regardless. Even if it's Argosax in two different forms, you would call them by different names. You don't call it Argosax Despair Embodied. You just call it Despair Embodied. Yeah, that's fucking bullshit. Even if you know what? Let's wait.
The only time you could say that this is that the space flying feat is a lesser feat is if you're going to bring up that he kept up with the Fury that could physically jump through time.
No, like I'm actually curious. So to be clear, everyone who's calced the feat for Dante's traveling is simply a semantics. I'm not gonna fight you over it. That feat is still far greater speed-wise than any of his other feats. What time frame are you giving Dante to where that's fucking not better?
can fire light speed lasers that Dante and Vergil have dodged.
Dante and Vergil can already dodge lasers in their base forms,
I appreciate that.
but when charged with enough demonic energy, they can outright blitz beams over 11 times faster than light.
Nero even survived.
So let me get this straight. A calculation that has constantly put Dante in the quintillions.
So let's put this in perspective. The lowest we have ever seen it calculated at its lowest is like 200 quintillion, while the highest gets into like the hundreds.
Even if you assume base estimations, I feel like that calculation, I think at its worst I saw, like assuming there was a nearby planet, was still anywhere in like the 15 FTL range.
Getting melted down while inside a living statue. It's a long story.
And that's the same sort of regeneration that Dante has, meaning he can survive being turned.
According to the Devil May Cry 5 guide, Nero's arm couldn't regenerate because Vergil removed Nero's demonic power. He regained his power later and immediately regrew his arm.
Yes and no.
Which guide, though?
Well, this is also the thing of like yes and no, because it's more self-actualization of the fact that Nero finally accepted who he was as a person.
Yeah, because it's important to clarify, Nero never gets his demonic power back from Vergil. It's not until he talks to Kyrie and remembers the pain he felt losing his brother that Nero's demonic powers reawaken. But he doesn't get Yamato back. He doesn't get his arm back. Nothing changes for Nero in that regard. His demonic...
He just fully awakens his devil trigger, because the way he originally got the bringer was that it was partially awakened due to a scarecrow in the start of 4's novel.
I guess the better way I can explain it...
Was it a scarecrow or an assault?
It was a scarecrow, I believe. No, I think it was an assault, actually, that created his arm. Or not created, but like awakened it. The best way I can describe Nero's arc in DMC5 is Nero doesn't have confidence in himself after losing his arm. He also doesn't substitute.
He also never truly accepted that he was a demon.
To clarify, the last thing we see happen to Nero before he gets his demonic power back is Dante calls him deadweight, explains Vergil's his dad, And that's it. I think also Nero actually leaves the van at some point, but he never gets that power back. How do you have so much power left? This statement literally debunks their claim. Oh, okay. Also, that is correct. Malphus does clarify that Nero still has a lot of power, even technically losing his demonic power. But again, that could just be similar to Nero regaining his confidence. DMC5 is very much a case of Nero coming to terms with himself because he's still not, he wasn't ever really whole after DMC4.
No,
Into a puddle.
but it's also something to mention. They don't go into detail about, and I know that they're probably not about to go into more detail about how Nero regenerated from being inside the Savior. Nero was dissolved mind, body, and soul. So by all contingency and rights, he basically came back after Dante calls his name and he basically becomes self-aware again. So even at like the most generous, if you can't negate healing on the soul, you're not going to be able to stop Dante. And that's bare minimum. You can go into like even higher like ranges depending on how you want to take like coming back from like a name conceptually.
Okay, so I did receive some information. It is the official complete guide from the Japanese one that says that, and it specifically says former power revived. Nero unleashes new powers and regains his demonic power. So from this battle onward, he can use the Buster and Demon transformation. Also, so this is in reference to that situation. But my point still stands that Nero doesn't get his arm back or the sword back. Whatever gave Nero back his powers was just Nero. Yeah, no, it's a myth.
Dante was ready when Vergil somehow returned again.
Okay. So to clarify, and that's not, and I'm being nitpicky here on this one, but it's not. It's not that Vergil's return isn't randomly just hand waved in. Vergil was already kind of hinted to have been coming back in DMC4. He even his spirit technically talks to Nero at one point. But they do actually explain Vergil's return.
Also, if you really want to like look at how it wasn't just hand waved in that he came back, the entire plot of DMC5 is literally the meme of like Vergil hired Vergil's brother to get Vergil's son to come and hunt down Vergil so Vergil can become Vergil again.
Apocalyptic demon tree for what else? More
The more
power.
you go to Devil May Cry, the more you'll realize Devil May Cry is just Vergil.
Oh, actually, one other thing too. The scan they provided.
Yes?
The scan they provided doesn't actually say that Nero couldn't restore his arm. It's literally just in reference to Nero gaining his power back after the cutscene. So that's also not confirmed either.
And made an apocalyptic demon tree for what else? More power!
With the entire world now on the line, Dante had to get serious and fully embrace his human and demon.
Okay, so I'm just going to clarify. There is no fight against a top tier or a guy who can fuck with Dante that Dante is not serious in. The novels clearly demonstrate Dante is a serious fighter when he's fighting the boss level demons.
Sides alike by stabbing himself.
Holy sh!
Well, boss level
Dante
even if you try and like, even if you want to try and like deny it, he did go serious against Abigail.
Yes.
Like, he saw Abigail as enough of a threat that he had the devil trigger.
That is true.
He decided to make it how he powers up, so he got his greatest weapon, Devil Sword Dante, and became Sin Devil Trigger. This is Dante's demon energy at its peak. He can fire lasers with Loose, obliterate with the fires of Judgment.
For a second, I thought they modded Clive into DMC5 because I thought that was Clive.
And surpass even the legendary Sparta.
With the power of Sparta Unleashed, there's no telling if
Okay.
Dante surpassed. Unfortunately,
I was going to say, this needs to be stated. Everything that's written in 5 subscriptions are from the perspective of Nico.
Yes, it's
and
also
whatever
worth.
Nico has been told by the other people.
Oh, actually, wait. We're already at feats? Weird. Okay. Feats, outsped Nero's pedal ray. So that's not technically correct. Vergil did it, but scales to Vergil. Sever the Clive tree with Vergil, with still bombardment from meteors. Shook a miles wide cavern when fighting Urizen. Survived Vergil's space cutting judgment cut. Sliced thousands of raindrops in less than a second. Defeated Void Moonus, Argosax, Abigail, Nightmare, and
The
Vergil.
raindrop feat is not. If you acknowledge that he flew with Mundus in space, the raindrop feat's not important.
Poor Kyle.
Although Dante was
Drop it.
totally a
It's
match
not a
for
good
Vergil,
feat. It wasn't
neither
even
of
a
them
good
would
feat
budge
to
on their
play.
ideals.
Actually, so this raises a question, and also this is, I mean, the defeated accolade section is probably the best I've seen for the characters I know that they've done.
Yeah,
Both were
but
destined to
it's
duel.
still one of those things where it's like, if you don't know the context behind the names, this means shit all to you.
Yep. He took the power of Abigail seriously, but he didn't take Sid seriously, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Until one was dead forever.
But thanks to Nero and 2 well-placed bitch slaps, they got some sense knocked into him.
Dante realized that if he couldn't make Vergil abandon his ways, he might as well keep an eye on him. In one fell swoop, the two severed the world-spanning demon tree and prepared for a permanent departure to the underworld.
You can
It's
choose
not
your friends.
okay. Pause. It's not world spanning. It's literally universe spanning. It literally breaks its way from the demon world into the human world.
Yeah, they'd also mention Nightmare's feats. Okay, also to clarify, human and demon world does not mean planets. It means the universe they're within. It's just how they're referred to in DMC consistently throughout all of its media. But, okay, so they're not touching Yamato unless...
But not your
hang
family.
on.
But if that's what it takes to keep Vergil safe, or rather to keep the world safe from Vergil, Dante will deal with it. And all things considered, he's happy slugging it out with his bro. Maybe happier than he's ever been.
Proof that as long as you have the human drive, even hell can become a paradise sweet enough that a devil may cry.
Okay, so let's talk about obvious things that were not included. The Bangle of Time from DMC1 was not included. The amulet and all of its powers from DMC2 was not included. To be clear, these are Dante's items that he himself acquires. There is no reason they should have been excluded from this death battle. POC was also not included, but I mean,
Or
I'm
even
actually a little
mentioned.
more surprised they didn't
They-
reference POC.
No. They didn't even go out of their way to do what they did for Fire Force for Solitaire and just not even acknowledge it.
No, that's what I was about to say. I'm actually kind of surprised they didn't even acknowledge POC by saying we don't want to use it because potential issues. There aren't anymore. That was only for the Chinese version because none of us could get a hold
Well,
of it.
that depends. That all depends on what Mangler finds, and depending on what Mangler finds, we can publicly give that build out to like different servers so they can go and check it out themselves.
True. They don't even mention strength. They don't have to because ultimately this is an AP discussion, so they're not going to mention physical strength. But so
The
okay.
best that we've gotten, the best that we can infer so far, is that at best they put him at like 11 times light speed in Universal.
12. It was closer to 12, so I'm assuming they would just round up. I doubt they're actually going to be sticklers about
Well,
the fraction, about the point.
So they basically make him slower. And I want to put this in perspective. From the fight 4 years ago, he is slower than where they put Naruto and Ichigo.
Okay. So no Yamato from DMC4, no Bangle of Time from DMC1, no Amulet from DMC2, despite the fact that they went out of their way to mention several DMC2 feats. And they also gave him Beowulf when he canonically doesn't have Beowulf, but okay.
No holy water.
So here's the thing. I'm fine with consumables not being in this death battle. I think consumables being in versus matchups is fucking stupid, personally. But the Bangle of Time is not a consumable.
No, until you do Noctis.
What?
Until you do Noctis.
Okay, Noctis is a different story when his power makes every Noctis can grab a Gatorade and make it a health potion. It's not the same thing. No, fuck you. That's not the same thing. I will stand on that fucking hill. Is it instantly activate time manipulation Bangle of Time? Yes, but Bangle of Time is an item that stops time completely. It doesn't slow time down. So as of right now, Dante has...
They didn't even give him. They didn't even give him the amulet that would have the chrono heart.
Yeah.
He has 3 ways to slow down time.
So this isn't a simple case of, oh, they're just leaving out miscellaneous shit. They're missing
They're leaving out.
on a core power system from one of his games.
They're also leaving out like I don't expect them to add like the 30 to 40 different powers that he has,
Oh,
but
yeah,
they
that's a lot
barely
of power.
touched on any of them.
Yeah, so no fear hacks, no skill feats given, no.
No existence erasure, which they would know and have because that statement is in both 1 and 2's novel.
So Dante, a character with a massive amount of information with multiple games, got 6 minutes of information. Where's Clive's end? Okay, that's just the ad. Clive gets 8 minutes for one game.
Clive is not that deep, and he doesn't have that much shit to cover. Clive should be 3 to 2 minutes at best if Dante gets 6.
Okay, so I think just on a basic level, I think there's already weird that Clive gets more time than Dante. I think being as honest as anyone can be, that should raise some red flags. Dante has 5 games and several novels. How did Clive get more time allotted for his scaling?
He has several novels, 2 mangas, and like 13 to 14 different guidebooks and art books. And that's not even including audio dramas.
Hang on.
No, I was just gonna say, like, Dante having all that material, and you're gonna tell me that you could only scrounge 6 minutes, and you couldn't even get all of the core powers from the games alone?
Regardless, now to be fair, while it is a little longer for Clive, it's probably for narrative purposes. But again, one character has not astronomically, it has almost 5 times more content than the other one. Dante should have gotten 10 minutes. Clive should have gotten like 7. Come on, guys. Are the editors paid per second? All right, so I'm actually going to time this. I want to see how much more time gets over Clive. All right, 6:38 is where we're at for Dante. So I'm going to see if maybe I'm just calling it a little bit here. So I'll come back to this time frame later. Let's continue with Clive.
Whiz, it's an emergency! This fight's gonna have a banger.
Oh, wait, is this an ad? Oh, never mind. Clive didn't get more time. It's about the same. It's 2 fucking ads. My bad, guys. I jumped the gun. My bad.
Tell the tale of the kingdom of Rosaria.
This battle covers spoilers of Final Fantasy 16. I wonder why they keep mentioning spoilers.
And its prince, Clive Rossfield. A man
Also, now he gets the full name.
destined to be a dominant, the host to a mighty guardian icon.
Anybody who's a Dom can draw on magic life juice.
DMC has audio dramas. Actually, did they even reference the audio dramas? No, they didn't. Vergil
Didn't reference POC, didn't reference the audio dramas, didn't reference Visions of Thee.
Actually, I just realized they didn't even reference Dante's resistances to the elements either. They didn't even talk about it. They also didn't reference any of the scaling for the weapons, like King Cerberus being like beyond absolute 0 temperatures. But to be fair, maybe they'll say it for the actual verdict. To be fair, it's just that I wonder what the thought process is.
You know what hurts? You know what hurts? Because we've seen how they do Dante. If they do Kratos versus Dante, you know that they will effortlessly give it to Kratos.
Ifrit DMC is Hellfire. They barely mention the novels. Well, let's see what they say in the conclusion. But as of right now, they left out the Bangle of Time, they left out the Amulet, and they left out Yamato, which is going to be talked about at some point. There's no way they're not going to talk about Yamato, but there's no excuse for the amulet not being in there. Let's continue.
Ether becoming a big.
No, like at this point, I can't even be mad anymore. Dante's missing several of his items in the analysis, so unless they bring it up in the video later, I'm just gonna tell everyone, you're right. A gimped Dante apparently lost to Clive. Like this isn't even a full Dante. Half of his passives and fucking aren't even here.
Scary monster.
And commanding the element they embody to create storms, slay armies, and split the sea. Dominants are forces of nature, and Clive would be the dominant of the Phoenix.
Well, he was supposed to, but Big Bird said no thanks and instead picked his sick little brother Joshua. Parents don't play favorites, but I guess ancient monsters can.
Parents don't play favorites in this fucking game is a wild statement to make.
That's wild, given the fact of like who his mother is. That's like full of shit from the rip.
I was gonna say, bro, I have never seen a game provide a more direct parental discrimination.
Hey. Under likes. Joshua, Jill, Torgal. Where's Sid? That motherfucker didn't suck his cock.
He doesn't like Sid, Kyle. He only took his name, literally led his rebellion, and was like his favorite person past his father and Joshua.
No, it's fine. They failed to put an extra line. Love Sid. But it's like dislikes Annabella. That's not even true. You can't even say once you go through the game that he dislikes Annabella.
Dislikes discrimination. I would like to be as clear as possible to everyone watching this. While Clive did help with discrimination, he was more than okay watching slaves get killed without doing anything.
And turning the cheek in the hopes that justice will come for them one day. And when it comes to his mother, he does nothing to his mother.
Yeah, I mean, he might dislike her. Like,
enslaved his country, put him in chains, put Jill in chains, and basically got his father killed, got his brother killed in his eyes for years, and all he did was give her a stern talking to. And how does this bitch die? Does Joshua kill her? No, that'd be good storytelling. Does Clive kill her? That'd be satisfying. It'd give him redemption story as a character. No. Discount Jesus couldn't hurt a fly unless its name was Hugo. No. Did Jill do it? Oh, that would be sweet for her lover. No, I'm sorry. That's a good story that would do that. My apologies. No, she kills herself after Joshua offers her a hand to escape the wreckage and destruction of Sam Beck. Fuck this game. Fuck this story. These are not good characters.
All right,
How
let's
about you?
continue.
Despite the rejection and a deep...
How about you? Is there anything you want to say?
No, I think you hit it pretty hard on the head there, to be honest.
loathing from his mother.
But no, again, if they don't cover the stuff missing for Dante, because there's a lot of powers and abilities missing for Dante. If they don't cover at least some of it in the conclusion, I'm gonna have to question what happened behind the scenes.
Clive and Joshua were...
And I don't want to accuse Death Battle of being, I don't want to accuse them of just fixing this fight, so to speak. But no amulet from DMC2 when it literally has a fire amulet that makes him immune to fire and heals him from flames is a wild omission.
Clive saw the burden his brother bore and accepted his blessing of the Phoenix in hopes of becoming Joshua's
They have thrown fights this entire season.
You're right, because Bowser should have lost to Eggman.
Meaning he learned a
let's be serious here and look at other fights. By their own research, Ashura should be Kratos. Master Chief was hard done by. And by all rights, Jorno should have beaten Ren even by their own research.
Well, let us continue and see what they have to say, because I'm curious what they're going to say for Clive. Clive knows he's disappointed because he didn't inherit the Phoenix icon. Yeah, but his mom didn't have to be that big of a fucking bitch about it.
It was still her son. Sure, be disappointed.
Looked at Clive like the shit beneath her fucking feet, bro.
No, you know what her archetype is?
What?
They literally wanted to have female Denethor, but Denethor actually did care about Faramir. He was just too blinded by sadness of Boromir's death and wanting the stress of keeping Mordor at bay to actually not see how hard he was pushing his son.
So,
Because you know why? That's good storytelling.
I will say that Death Battle's animations were a lot better this year. But the research, because apparently even Blade versus Buffy ended up being wrong when people actually broke down some of the advantages they gave Buffy.
Yeah,
And took down
apparently. This isn't the video for it, but apparently they lied about the multiversal stuff for Buffy, which is wild, and the axe, which is wild.
before he was even out of puberty.
I think the axe is worse than the multiverse one.
Without magic, Clive's a capable swordsman, able to boost his speed and perception with precision dodge. But it wasn't enough when Annabella betrayed Rosaria for the Empire of Sanbreque. In one night, Clive's knights, people, and his own father
Now to clarify, as Kyle mentioned earlier, there are multiple factions in this game, but you're only going to remember maybe 2 of them.
were slaughtered before him.
Quick, someone use a phoenix down.
Those aren't in this game.
Well, that's unfortunate. But the
Well, it's not unfortunate. It's always down.
The Sith also Osbro, I've already seen it. Well, I'm reacting to it. Hulk versus Godzilla was also wrong. 100% Godzilla should have taken it. No fucking debate.
Phoenix icon sure is, because the trauma of everything made poor Joshua lose control.
Clive
Oh,
wanted nothing
actually, if
more
we're
than-
also going over other things they got wrong, Kyle was fucking shafted and should have beaten Simone.
Yeah.
Perhaps this desire awakened the icon.
To be as fair to Kyle versus Simone, that one at least felt like it. Well, actually, no, because then I think a lot of people brought up examples where they were lying or wrong about.
Yeah,
really
you mean
wish-
that great transformation at the end of Transcending came from him and all of his friends' willpower together?
Clive's starting to build inner status, so he's okay to use slave, and he is okay. His mother's hated him for not getting the Phoenix. Yeah, but at some point, fucking, grow a fucking backbone and tell her she was fucking wrong for treating you like a piece of shit,
That
man.
was
Come
in his-
on.
Well, it's also one of those things where it's like, this game literally could have had the central plot be revenge against your mother. And guess what? That would have been a great anchor. You still could have had all the same bullshit happen, except that could have been Clive's overall goal was to get revenge against his mother.
The fiery beast.
Instead of having him have no agency throughout the entirety of the story.
I think the biggest problem with Clive, when we're talking about that, just very quickly before we continue, is that Clive doesn't feel human. He feels like a fence post. Because no person will have that happen to them after they gain their freedom and not at least be upset with the person.
Boy, is Ifrit a wild one. Just standing nearby will incinerate the average Joe. It can make fire barriers, regenerate lost limbs, decimate foes with a flaming spirit bomb, and shatter a walking mountain.
The downside being Clive couldn't control it. He didn't even remember becoming Ifrit or battling the Phoenix in a fight that reduced everything he loved to cinders, leaving Joshua presumed dead.
If that wasn't bad enough, dear old mother
Yeah,
found
leaving
him
his brother to
and made him
basically-
a slave to Sanbreque's army. Clive spent 13 years.
Do you want to
wandering
quickly
life,
go over how
searching for
basically
Ifrit's host for
Joshua for
revenge,
over a
only to
decade
learn
made Clive believe that he was dead?
Joshua's not getting away
the
with that
one he
one.
wanted to kill was himself.
This revelation hit Clive like a phantom train. He thought death was all he deserved for taking the lives of Joshua and so many others. Even so, there was a light at the end of the tunnel. No, not like that.
Thanks to his friend Jill, the outlaw Sid, his doggo Torgal, and a very therapeutic battle with his self-hatred, Clive learned to carry the torch for his brother, fighting the real problems plaguing his world. Crystals and racism!
In the world of Valis.
No, the fuck isn't. One of those is true, the other one is not.
All right. Yeah, no, I know how Clive wins. We're gonna talk about it when we get
for
to it.
bearers. Basically, anyone who can use magic without special crystals.
So what better way to dismantle the system than to help fellow bearers and destroy the
Yeah.
mother crystals, ruining
Apparently the people with powers somehow lost their Revolutionary War, and this game does not have good storytelling.
Relax.
the planet,
We're getting
all
we're
while
getting
picking
through
up
it.
some nifty abilities.
Through a mysterious power that lets him absorb icons, Clive took Garuda, an avian with sharp slashes and sharper talons. From Sid, he received Remove, so he could summon lightning.
From his Vergil,
Final Fantasy 16 Ultimate confirms iconic abilities like Rift Slip and Diamond Dust manipulate time as opposed to Precision Dodge, which heightens Clive's speed and perception.
he got Shiva to freeze lava and even time itself. With Titan, he can block and absorb blows with earth-shattering fists. From this Dragon Prince,
I
he
want
got
to pause that for a
Bahamut
sec. 10 freeze lava for about a couple of seconds, and then the lava melts straight through again.
can absorb blows
Yes.
with earth-shattering fists. From this Dragon Prince, he got Bahamut and some deadly lasers.
And through Odin, he can slow the flow of time and slice apart the fabric of space.
Looks familiar.
With these powers, Clive stepped up to lead the bearer.
Okay, swords, Invictus, Goddard, or Goddard. I'm not gonna pronounce that. Omega weapon
Goddard
original
wrong.
sin. Limit break, increased strength and speed, healing factor, Ifrit Risen, flight, homing fire blast, light speed. Icons, Ifrit, Phoenix, Garuda, Ramu, Titan, Bahamut. Okay.
And even reunited
This arsenal's not that
with
impressive, guys.
Joshua,
Come on.
who was alive all along. Surprise!
Clive spent 5 years freeing the land. And
Hang on, let me
Yeah, he
just
wasn't
count.
upset whatsoever that his brother
City Bait,
let him
Fudge,
believe
Yamato,
that he was dead.
Challenge Jeremy. What's Jeremy saying? Kyle hates Final Fantasy 16 as much as I hate Genshin mid-pack. Zim, it's kind of weird because Clive gives me the opposite feeling from Dante. When I look at Dante, it's always giving some vibes of fun, but Clive is just tiring, bland, as wild for an ARPG. Well, no, because that's the problem, is that Clive should... There's a reason why we kept saying most of the side characters felt better than Clive. It's because for whatever reason, they made Clive a black fucking hole.
He's a charisma vacuum.
became hot as hell while doing it. Well, no, not well, yeah, that way, but also through Ifrit. By using part of Ifrit's power, Clive can set himself aflame, activating Limit Break to boost his abilities.
But Limit Break is far from Clive's limit. After absorbing the Phoenix essence
Look at
from
fucking
Joshua,
freeze
he
dry Alton.
became Ifrit Risen. Now fully in control of the monster that had tormented him, he embraced his
Okay, Clive was basically in control of Ifrit way before this point. He talks about I think at this point you would say this is when he refers to Ifrit as himself, because he constantly calls Ifrit but like the third person. But he was already in control of Ifrit for a while. Unless I'm mistaken in the lore there. I'm cutting out a bit. That's weird.
role as a shield for his brother and friends.
Just in time to battle in space, block a planet-wiping blast, and overpower this dragon at the speed of light.
That's no exaggeration. Ifrit Risen is literally stated to move at light speed. Not surprising when Clive has intercepted lasers over 3 times faster than that. And overpowered Omega, a god-slaying weapon that can destroy, and I quote, all of creation.
But what made Clive strong enough?
Okay, but so to clarify on destroying all of creation, that's not what it said. Hang on.
Destroy, and I quote, all of creation.
So it's constricting all of creation. It's technically not destroying it. It is collapsing it in on itself. Yes, it would effectively destroy all of creation, but it's important to get the terminology correct here because it's not doing it. It's not just like blowing up all of creation. Now, of course, someone's going to say that's nitpicky. But
what made Clive strong enough to
just
do
make it
all
clear.
this? You know, besides the majestic man cleavage.
Turns out Clive's birth was orchestrated. He was intended to become the vessel of Ultima,
Look at this fucking fraud.
an ancient, all-powerful being that created humanity, but abandoned them after they developed free will.
okay.
All-powerful being that created humanity, but abandoned them after
The Paradise Ultima seeks to summon into creation, one free from the blight that almost ended his race. Though Barnabas believed that he and his fellow fatal fall, Ultima and his kin shall.
they developed free will.
Meaning,
Okay, so I'm actually gonna clarify this here for a minute because the Ultimania kind of makes it clear that's not exactly what happened. It's not that he abandoned them when they got free will. They got free will as a result of him abandoning humanity. Because so Ultima's plan was to have the Mother Crystals acquire the power to perform the spell at the end of the game. And then Ultima's like, all right, peace, fellas. Keep doing what you're doing till I get back. So while he was gone, humanity's like, I want free will now. I'm going to go do things besides protecting the Mother Crystal. The only group of people that still followed Ultima was
Barnabas.
Odin's faction. Odin's kingdom was the only one that still followed the original rules by Ultima. So Ultima did abandon them because they had free will. He abandoned them first, and then they got free will. A little bit of a difference.
Everything that happened was the fault of one person.
Joshua.
God, the bastard! But Clive wouldn't be a puppet. If God was in the way of humanity's freedom, then God was gonna die.
I want to make note of this right now. For all the shit that Ultima did, Clive was still way more angry at Hugo for no reason. He had such a hate boner. He had such a hate boner for Hugo that it wasn't funny. And Ultima, who is the cause of all this calamity and strife in the world, a stern talking to, a little bit miffed being in his presence. But Hugo, you've never seen savagery. You've never seen Clive be so savage.
You wanna know why? You wanna know why that happened, Kyle? Because Hugo made the mistake of trying to fight Sid.
You threatened my lover and my best friend Jill. It's like you tried to have my best friend executed, and you threatened my lover Sid.
Was stronger than anyone Clive had faced, able to warp all of reality.
Hold on.
No shit!
Ultima was stronger than anyone Clive had faced, able to warp all of reality to create a...
Okay. A place beyond space and time, termed both a rift between worlds and a darkness by its creator. Hang on. Clive and Joshua were forcibly summoned here by the mad deity when they ventured too close to the heart of Drake's spine. Upon finding their way free, the pair emerged to find their victory over Ultima, resulting in a shattering of the Mother Crystal. Okay.
Ultima was
You want
to
to
Well, hang on.
explain the problem? You want to explain from? No, I was going to say how about the fact of like they only get there because their minds are being warped there.
Yes, again, it's a mind realm, but hang on. Let's get
Clive
to
had
it.
faced, able to warp all of reality to create a universe. But Clive had a...
Now, to be as clear as possible, we don't know the... Now, let's be as perfectly clear here. Being as... I don't mind calling the Interdimensional Rift a universe. I don't mind that. But it is never confirmed the size of the Interdimensional Rift. We don't know how big it is. We also don't know how Ultima created the Interdimensional Rift, but I'm not going to be a dick about that. I'm fine saying Ultima created it with his raw power. Never demonstrates it, but I'm fine saying he did. I'm just reminding you guys of this, that we don't know the information about this. It's never stated to be a universe. I think at best, it's stated to be a parallel world. At best. But actually, you know what? Hold on.
I don't even think it's said to be that. The important part about the interdimensional rift is how they get there.
Hang on. Let's see all the information from the FF wiki real quick on the Interdimensional Rift. Let's go 16. I got is this Final Fantasy? This is not. Yeah, it's 14. Damn it. Hang on. Okay. Give me a second. Oh, this will be clarified in the comic book. In the comic book, is fix 16. It probably will be. Here we go. Okay.
But from what we already know, realms like that just teleport your mind because the art stones and the chrono monolith just take your mind somewhere else. Okay. And then when Clive gets his hand off of it, he awakens.
So, here we go. Interdimensional Rift. Ignore the card games. No, where did it go? Son of a bitch.
Aren't you lucky unsavory ads don't pop up for you?
They don't do it on the wikis. The wikis are more reasonable. Okay, hang on. Gotta be careful here. Okay, Interdimensional Rift. A place beyond time and space, termed both the rift between worlds and our darkness by its creator, Ultima and Clive. Ultima, Clive, and Joshua were forcibly summoned here by the mad deity that they might reflect upon their transgressions by its creator. Unlocked upon progressing to back to their origin. A place beyond time and space. Term built a rift between worlds and our darkness by its creator, Ultima. Clive and Joshua were forcibly summoned here by the mad deity when they ventured too close to the heart of Drake's spine. Upon fighting their way free, the pair emerged victory. We already talked about that one. And then this one. In order to further test the strength of the vessel Mythos, Ultima lured both Clive and Joshua deep into the shadowy depths of his fractured mind, where he faced the brothers clad in the remnants of his erstwhile flesh, the infernal icon, a place beyond time and space, ripped between worlds by its creator. But notice right here where it says, lured both Clive and Joshua deep into the shadowy depths of his fractured mind. So it's in his head. That's why it's hard to scale. Like, I don't mind scaling these things, but Ultima himself never demonstrates this power outside of the interdimensional rift. And it's in his head. The Archstones also imply that Clive falls asleep and wakes up by touching them, and I'll go into that if they mention the Archstones.
If you want more evidence, the same thing happens after the fight with Typhoon and after the final fight with Ultima. I mean, lest us be called a liar. We can show those if you want.
Like, I'm more than happy to show all these scans and go through the game to get them later on. We're not talking out of our ass here. Now, to be as clear as possible, I don't mind Clive getting the scaling. I disagree with it. But I'm bringing all of this up because Clive has yet to get a fucking black box to cover some issues with him.
So, I want people to also understand this. If you are a 16 fan and you think that we are being unjustly harsh towards Clive, or you think that we're biased in any way, shape, or form, we have an entire playlist where we've gone through Final Fantasy 16, and we wanted to so badly for Clive to have something good when we went through that game. But when we finished the game and we found out that the best stuff at the end of the game was just in a mental dimension, it broke us. We were so unbelievably angry because we thought if this shit story was going to have anything, give us feats. It couldn't even give us that.
True.
Over his journey, he developed a special state of mind, Logos.
AKA someone powered by human.
Okay, that would separate humans from animals. To Ultima, however, human will is sickness that prevents them from taking their proper divine form.
Will and the bonds of consciousness with others. Okay, that sounds like anime friendship crap, but trust me, it made Clive a badass who could surpass his limits, getting stronger over the course of just one fight.
So much so that, despite struggling against Ultima initially...
Do they not? Are they like G1 and they don't think that Dante has the same thing?
They did not mention Dante getting stronger as he fights, despite the fact that he would have to do so to keep up with Vergil and DMC 5. And the fact that he would also have to do so to keep up with several other of his opponents.
By the end of the fight...
This is consistent with Clive defeating Barnabas despite being initially weaker. Okay, I'm gonna say something here, but like... Barnabas was losing his marbles as that fight progressed. Are we sure Clive got way stronger? Or are we sure Barnabas wasn't getting weaker? That man's resolve was crumbling like a fucking sandcastle.
Okay, so again, this is going to sound like throwing shade again, but it's really not. It's actually explaining shit. You basically find out every icon in this game are the most mentally unstable fucking children on the planet. They all go nuts, besides from like Sid. They all lose their shit. Well, if they're even like pressed in any way, shape, or form.
I was just thinking to myself, give Clive an opponent with a mentally sound state of mind. Let's see how far he gets.
No, like, so one thing I actually forgot before as I was going through our streams again.
No.
I don't even know how justifiable it is that like Ifrit Risen beats Bahamut. Because remember, because remember, they are not fighting a Dion that's in his sound mind. He is manic from after accidentally killing his father and going absolutely manic.
True, but you know what, Kyle? I just realized why Dante was always going to lose this fight. Because Dante has trauma and he has issues. He never stood a chance against Clive because that's the one weakness Clive exploits in fucking everyone.
Clive took out Ultimalius, a more powerful amalgamation of Ultima and his entire species, all while Clive was in his base form.
Ultima literally became Ultima squared, but Clive still kicked his ass, using his bonds with his brother, his friends,
Also,
and his
we don't know how much stronger this form actually is. We're building based on assumptions. But again, to clarify, Clive has been getting nothing but the benefit of the doubt this whole death battle.
Well, his problem is that if they were fair and you did the same thing, you can literally. Was it? If you were to give the same benefit of the doubt to Dante, you can make the same arguments throughout 3 and 5 stories. But every time he gets beaten down and comes back.
It is true, because Dante does get stronger substantially, especially because Beowulf's able to punch him into the ground, and then later he's able to match Vergil, who one-shot Beowulf. But again, only Clive gets stronger throughout his game, and through fights. Only Clive.
Now, so that we can actually explain this further. The reason why we're comparing him to even a blind Beowulf is fine, because Beowulf has shown that he can get around Tim and the Gru just by smell alone. So sight's not really that much of an issue. But what is the issue is the fact that Dante can keep up with a Vergil who blitzed Beowulf, the same Beowulf who was fast and strong enough to tag Dante and plant him into the ground. So he is, you can argue during every fight, he is consistently getting stronger and stronger, because as we keep bringing it up, and because a lot of people don't go so deep into the lore, the more he bleeds, the more human blood he gets.
So
because he just gets passively stronger just by living.
I just realized they didn't cover how inflicting and receiving pain also gives him more power. I just realized they didn't cover that either.
But you know what else they didn't cover?
What?
They didn't cover how he got, essentially it'd be universe upon universe's level of amps from the blood, mistaking him for Vergil and feeding him blood too.
Well, let's see if they mention that one later, because I did hear that the blood will be mentioned later.
Really was the power of friendship after all. Man, this guy's got a future in shonen.
Well, except we don't really know what happened to Clive. Whether he lived or died, though, doesn't really matter. It was his journey, and
guys, he died. The game doesn't really leave it up for interpretation. The star that represents him in the sky goes out. Guys, come on.
The world he created.
It's literally the red star of death.
It's reference to media.
All of the characters see the red star of death, and they understand what it means, and they all cry as soon as they see the star.
Life meaningful. Clive's dream of a future where
Withstood hits from 2 billion ton rock tentacles, destroyed a meteor with Joshua, shattered time lost,
had become a reality.
And his stories were written up in a book by a certain Joshua Rossfield, which he titled Final Fantasy.
Okay. You ready for the fight, Kyle?
I mean, I've already seen it, so it's whatever for me.
Let's see it. Oh, what the fuck? What's with that lighting?
Hey, I heard your fiery friend is causing trouble, and I'm in the business.
Whoa, that lifting.
Leave now. I have a god to kill. The last thing that will stop me is a demon.
Can we get to the fight, please? These poses are not very good. Okay.
Is this me, or do these models seem kind of weird?
The models are kind of damped. I'm wondering why, though. I'm assuming they were made quickly, which is fine. They don't need to be amazing. Okay.
Are we beyond the point where we can just rip the models from fucking 5 and 3?
I guess.
Fancy yourself a bard.
Okay. Well, you know what? The fight's not better than I thought it was going to be. It's fun. It is enjoyable so far. The animated bird totally has some fun with it, and that's fine. Dante, why are you using your shotgun at long range? What are you doing?
Stay down. No hiding in the shadows anymore, Smokey. Time to see the light.
I feel like lore-wise, Cullinan Graves when he... well, you know, I guess they're going on gameplay still. Bahamut, cool.
What the hell is that?
Okay, so we're both at the mid-range level.
Vergil's got some competition.
Okay, so was it?
What's up?
I get animation for fun, but unless you have an instance of a character being able to kick themselves out of a time slow, just because they have a time slowing ability does not override the other one. We had the same issue when you did Dante vs Bayonetta.
Still holding out on me? Let's see what your monster can really do! So the devil cries for more. Let's give him everything we've got! Joshua!
Alright. Oh, okay. Okay. No, the fight's not that bad. I just think,
I won't underestimate you!
no, the fight's good. I think the fight's fine.
Okay, so he's going for Judgment, but not Demolition, which would have been the more preferable one.
Please, just once. I need more.
I want people to know right now that would have been his death cry.
Smokey.
Because Clive can't heal in this form.
I need Ifrit! Not bad. Not bad at all. After a fight like this, God will be nothing.
Okay, not bad. Not a bad fight. Pretty solid fight.
Okay, that was a whole nother level of close, but I think we got the point.
This was not an easy call to make. Dante and Clive matched each other
Bullshit.
so closely, it was hard.
So, to clarify, going over everything, Dante lost a bunch of stuff that wasn't given to him. Majin never made an appearance because if Majin had made an appearance, it would have appeared after Sin DT, given the context of the fight itself. Meow syllable
Didn't
verse.
get the Bangle of Time. Didn't get the amulets.
So let's see what they say, because maybe they'll mention it now, because they do mention some stuff they don't mention earlier on.
This is best explained through 3 categories, starting with stats.
Also, they didn't mention any of his skill feats either, when Dante can literally beat someone who can precog him and was beyond him for a certain portion of the fight.
Both Dante and Clive could easily beat up universe-busting threats.
Mundus and Ultimalius could create universes at a whim, and Dante and Clive...
Okay, you know what? I think I'm seeing the problem here. The problem isn't that he created the Interdimensional Rift. They believe every time the Interdimensional Rift comes up, Ultima is creating it.
Wait, so they don't think that's an already established place, that he's just collapsing it and re-bringing it up?
Yes, they think that makes so much more sense now how this happened.
Universe-busting threats.
Do you think G1 thinks the same thing?
No.
No, that makes way much more sense. Because remember, they said that the Interdimensional Rift is universes in G1.
Stats. Both Dante and Clive could easily beat
Oh
up
my
universe
god.
busters.
They
That makes
fucking
okay.
do.
Okay, well that explains a lot actually. So to clarify again,
You know what was something that G1 actually never said when they were talking about the mirror world? They never brought up the fact that Mundus was the one who made it just so he could hide the key to his fucking... Because when it says collapsing the demon world, you're in Mundus's body.
okay, so hang on. So
Categories, starting with stats.
Both Dante and Clive could easily beat up universe-busting threats.
Mundus and Ultimalius can create universes at a whim, and
again, so they're saying they can both create universes at a whim, so they are including both of them. But the only quote-unquote universe Ultima made was the Interdimensional Rift. So only for Plural to be there, it has to be that he's creating the interdimensional rift multiple times. Otherwise, there's only one universe being included here.
Well, actually, here's the problem. I think I understand why they didn't translate the Kaito Shinto one properly. Because if they did, that would be the only one out of the two of them who has a definitive size for their universe.
Well, all right, so that makes sense on stats. Let's
Dante and
continue.
Clive defeated them sans their own super forms. Dante and Clive could both consistently intercept lasers at faster-than-light speeds.
And Dante could always amp.
Wait, hang
Clive
on.
could both consistently intercept lasers at faster-than-light speeds.
Okay, so when did...
What's your question?
Did I miss the memo at some point? When did gameplay start becoming like so much more valid again? Like I thought we had agreed that like it was lore and shit.
No. Clive's one is a cutscene. That's just before he starts the fight Bahamut.
Well, yeah, that's fine. But like, because Dante's light, like I don't know, maybe I'm tripping here.
No. Because they're using the Tower of Destruction. What about the Rooks then? The Rooks are faster by calculation standards.
That is true, actually. I'm wondering how that one goes.
Dante and Clive could both consistently intercept lasers at faster-than-light speeds.
And Dante could always amp up with
Mundus and Ultima.
demon juice to briefly outspeed Clive anyway.
But Clive could match that.
Okay, so
Dante could always amp up with
so this is under the impression that like Vergil can't hit those speeds normally. But all right, fair enough.
demon juice to briefly outspeed Clive anyway.
But Clive could match that by boosting his own speed and reflexes through precision dodge. Both were so...
Okay.
No, stop. No. Because now they say that in Devil Trigger, Dante gets to 11 times the speed of light.
How's precision
And
dodge
Clive only
actually?
gets 3. So even if you think that E3 is a 2 times multiplier, that would only get him to like 6.
Hang on. I want to see what precision dodge is. Is it just a gameplay mechanic?
It does say in the law that he does speed up like his perception to see things, I believe.
Well, that's why I want to see what it says. I'm gonna need I'm gonna have to go through the Ultimania later for that. That's fine.
so beyond the pale that neither could definitively overpower the other.
Still, given their crazy powers, you'd think one of their abilities would break the deadlock.
Not so much. Dante and Clive
No,
can
hang on.
generally match each other.
Hold on. If they say that Dante gets... So, if they say he's only just above the speed of light, normally, and in Devil Trigger he gets to 11 times, then they believe that Devil Trigger gives him an 11 times increase. He'd be 11 times universal. By their metric.
Wait, that's true. Wait, hold on a minute. What the fuck?
Consistently intercept lasers at faster-than-light speeds.
And Dante could always amp up with demon juice to briefly outspeed Clive anyway.
But Clive could
Oh, okay, so I guess their argument is that he'd have to charge it up.
match that by
Wouldn't-
boosting his own
wouldn't
speed and
matter.
reflexes through precision dodge. Both were so beyond the pale that neither could definitively overpower
No,
the
the
other.
perfect
by
balance.
that
Even their
logic,
crazy-
Dante would still be superior in stats to an absurd margin.
Well, so why is Dante missing so many of his demonic abilities, though? Like, are we gonna get that covered in like a few black boxes?
Powers, you'd think one of their abilities would break the deadlock.
Not so much. Dante and Clive could generally match each other blow for blow, be it to teleport,
Dante's healing abilities could help, but have specific location requirements requiring a connection between the human and demon worlds, making its usability unlikely. What's the source for that? Where is it ever stated in any of the guides that Dante needs a bridge between both worlds in order to heal somebody? Because, to clarify, when Dante goes to fight Argosax, I want to clarify, he is not in the human world or the demon world. The portal has closed. Wait.
Also,
no, hold on. I don't want to make a mistake here. Hold on. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, because Argosax is also stuck in a prison between the demon and the human world, isn't he?
Yes, but
From Sparta.
let me make sure I'm not wrong. Let me make sure I'm not wrong here. I don't want to provide misinformation. That's not what we do here.
Kill me.
Okay, let's see. Okay, there's the portal opening. Okay. Damn it. Okay, hang on. Ah.
Dante.
My portal is fucking closed. You can even see the light going out behind her.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Have to.
Let me make sure it's not back on anywhere. Okay. Just to make sure, does the portal open back up later? No. Okay. No. All right. They're wrong. They're just wrong here. Okay.
Actually, at the end of this, we'll go through and we'll show you that Ultima shit is all like mental based as well through the Typhoon fight and all that after we're done with this.
They aren't taking it into a fact that Nero can perceive MFT already, so they're scaling off how we see it through Nero's eyes.
time, flash freeze the other,
Yeah, but they wouldn't do that.
block and absorb.
Whoa, hold on. Are we not going to go bar for bar on this shit? I checked your DM. I checked the GM's J. Are we not going to go bar for bar? Can we get the statements confirming that Clive's ice is absolute zero? Can we get the statements about his flame, please? Like, because if we're going to go bar for bar with this shit, then let's go bar for bar. Band for band. Band for band right now. Band for band.
Hits, etc.
The problem is that this is a very superficial look at it. So from a superficial level, I can see how they come to this conclusion.
Dante could survive the intense flames of Ifrit.
Hold on.
Block and absorb hits, etc.
And Dante could survive the intense flames of Ifrit. He's dealt with heat like that before.
Though Clive did not have a perfect match against Doppelganger, he did have more methods of manipulating time.
Okay.
No, that's
he
a fucking lie.
He has 2 methods versus Dante's 3 methods. Even if you believe the Bangle of Time is not valid, for whatever reason, where's my fucking amulet, bro?
Where's
That's
my
still
chrono
two.
heart?
That's still 2
Where's my
things!
chrono heart? Hey.
Bro. Even
No,
when
no
they're
wonder-
fucking
no wonder
being
people are
generous to
doing this.
Clive, they still can't fucking stop lying.
No wonder people are giving this so much shit. This is so far up their own arse of bias. I'm going to tell you this right now. I would love to see people try and defend this.
Listen. Even being generous and saying Dante can't do anything but slow down time, there's still more shit for Dante. It's fine. That's a straight up fucking lie. And to be clear, how much time manipulation powers does Clive have? He has Shiva and he has Odin. Who else stops time? Any Final Fantasy 16 guys who know the lore better than I do, is there any other time stopping I'm not understanding here? So if he goes up to 3, that just matches Dante. Hang on, actually, hang on.
No, because they're different types of time manipulation too. they're under the assumption that Shiva being able to freeze time is the same as an interdimensional time rift being opened.
Clive fans are not sure about this despite the amount of information in gimping Dante. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it a straight buck here, fellas. I'm gonna keep it a straight buck here. Well, hang on. They're not done yet.
Reliable and abusable. In addition to
Wait.
did have more methods of manipulating time, both more reliable and abusable.
Okay. Hold on. Let's break this down for a minute.
More reliable and abusable. You mean all of Dante's methods that just require demonic energy, which he gets from being hurt or giving damage, compared to Clive, who has a finite cooldown.
So let's break this down. His abilities have cooldowns that he can't use right away. Dante has an amulet that gives his Devil Trigger the properties of time stop while in Devil Trigger, the Bangle of Time, which just by fucking breathing will stop time, and Quicksilver, which also is like the Bangle of Time. Only one of these abilities prevents him from DTing during the time stop. Curious.
And that could just be gameplay limitation. And even if you want to say Clive's cooldown's a gameplay limitation, cool. If we're going to go tit for tat, Dante's got stronger time manipulation, and it's layered. Because it works on demons, and demons aren't affected by time manipulation.
They never cared to go into layers of resistances or anything, because if you did, Dante would come out on top because he has more media to work with over Clive. Bangle of Time, Chrono Heart, Quicksilver, and Passive Demonic Power that's also true. Just the demon world approaching with all its power also fucks with time. Whatever.
In addition to defensive methods.
Wait, actually, I'm actually gonna give a hot take here. Mundus' generals, when amped by his power, become immune to time manipulation. Dante's way stronger than them. He doesn't give them a passive hacks. They just get stronger.
Are we also going to ignore the fact of like?
No, that's me being a dick though, because Dante does get slowed down by Girion. That's me being a dick. I'll continue.
No. If there's one to play tit for tat when it comes to fighting people who have time manipulation, okay. He fights Odin, who has one attack that could probably stop time and slow it down. Dante has fought Girion, which the horse's entire gimmick is slowing time.
The Timekeeper was able to slow time in the DLC, but if we're gonna go gameplay on this for a minute, hang on. Give me a second. This is from the DLC, so I don't blame you for forgetting it.
Has been my
Wasn't lucky for them.
Okay, so there's the time stop done by Clive. Also, to clarify, when they say Clive's time stop is more consistent, Clive can only perform the time stop with certain moves. It's not like every move gets to stop time. Hang on, this fucker can stop time. I know he can.
Second phase.
Is it second phase? Am I tripping balls? This guy had time manipulation powers. Does he not have time stop attacks?
Yeah, he does. He creates like a sphere around himself, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm pretty sure this fucker can stop time in the boss battle. Maybe he's just getting stomped out too hard by the guy fighting him and he's not like programmed to do that. Okay, I'm tripping. I'm not wrong, right? Fuck.
No, because I remember it too.
Hang on. Okay, we're gonna. I must just be missing the attack. I'm fairly confident that guy can stop time. Risen also had time powers. And to be fair, I don't think Clive fully resists the time manipulation either. Again, this is the problem when you argue for a really close position of a fight. These nuances matter.
Measures like Ifrit's barrier to fall back on to outlast powers like Doppelganger.
But their super forms evened out. Any edge Clive could get from, say,
So, sorry, hang on, stop. They didn't mention the fact that Doppelganger is just shadow manipulation.
No, they
They
don't.
fully believe that it's a clone.
That is true. Well, no. They do reference No, they don't reference that's actually shadow manipulation. They just assume it's cloning, probably. Yeah, Urizen also had time manipulation powers as well from Yamato. And technically from being a Demon King.
Risen, Dante could match with Devil Trigger or Sin.
They're not even going to acknowledge the Doppelganger boss fight where Doppelganger can transform and steal the techniques of anyone that he's a shadow of. If Dante wanted to, he could literally just have Clive fight himself.
Devil Trigger.
In the end,
Now, to be as fair as possible, I'm assuming their position is they're not going to make assumptions of how the power can be used, just how it's shown. But again, this entire fight has been massive assumptions in favor of Clive, and every time Dante has some wiggle room, they stomp it out with black boxes.
there's to most of each other's powers, making it
Also, there's still no evidence on the ceiling. Does anyone know where that ceiling statement came from? Because that's just a flat out lie.
still anyone's win.
Which is why it came down to one major factor: endurance. Just how long could these two keep at it?
While Dante's super forms could undoubtedly keep up with Clive's, there is an emphasis in story and gameplay that they expend a lot of demonic energy.
The longest Dante has battled in Devil Trigger against someone his equal is about 6 minutes, and ability.
Are you telling me
Alright, the fight between
Netflix anime was accepted for evidence? The POC doesn't get a fucking black box?
But Zim, it's fine because it's not like Dante had a day-long fight with Urizen.
Actually, you know what? Let's hang on. Let's see how long they say Clive lasts. But seriously, how does the Netflix anime get a pass here when it's not even canon to the main story in any capacity, or even supposed to... Hang on. No,
He's like,
no, hang on. Devil May Cry, Peak of Combat. I just need to, can I get this? Yeah, can I get the Google Play Store description, please? I just need to make sure I'm not tripping balls here for a minute. Thank you. Can I get a description for the game? Oh. Am I seriously fucking overtaxing this shit? Hang on. Give me a second, guys. Give me a second. Oh, it's just the fucking app store. Never mind. It's not my PC having trouble. Hang on. I was gonna look at the description for Peak of Combat real fast. Kyle, can you look at the description for Peak of Combat? There's some demon.
like Doppelganger.
Because I'm fairly confident the description for Peak of Combat stated it's supposed to be an orthodoxical sequel on the game store.
Nah, that's website.
Oh, that's from the website? That's from the official PLC website? Like,
Yes.
where's that from? Because, like...
Hang on, I'll send you the link for it.
Listen. I don't mind not using PLC, but Netflix anime gets a pass? I'm just saying something's wrong here. Just keeping it a straight buck. Dante's Devil Trigger may be above 6 minutes, time limit by Devil May Cry 5, but not Sin Devil Trigger, which only lasts for a few minutes. Okay, so technically, again, and this is where we're going back to assumptions made for thee, but not for me. Let's break down that Urizen fight for a minute. Hang on. Let's go to YouTube. Hang on, because this is important. This is important. Dante versus Urizen 3. Okay, can I get this? Hang on. So, I just need to see how long. Well, actually, you know what? I'm jumping the gun. Let's see how long Clive lasts.
Silver and Sin Devil Trigger burn through it even faster.
Clive's time in Ifrit Risen isn't limitless either, but it can last longer, fighting for tens of minutes if necessary. But given how close this match is, it's vital. If Ifrit Risen catches Dante outside of Devil Trigger, it's over.
I know what you're thinking. Dante Dante's crazy tough. His healing factor's way better than Clive's. Clive can regen lost limbs, sure, but Dante can heal from getting reduced to a puddle. Couldn't he just tank Ifrit's attacks?
Well, yes, but also no. This is where context is everything. While no doubt impressive, Dante's healing has been overcome in the past because it is tied to how much energy he has. Less demonic energy means a less potent healing factor.
Like when he got knocked out
I hear he was out for a whole month,
For a month
following his ass kicked at the hands of Demon King, but for some reason Clive was playing full demonic
straight
power.
by Urizen, only surviving thanks to a constant source of demon blood. Hell,
Okay,
over
again, this is a massive assumption here. Here we go. Kyle sent me it. Yeah, so on Tap, it's supposed to be a genuine thing. Okay, but so to clarify here, this is an assumption made against Dante. This description does not say he needed this to survive. Did Urizen knock his ass out? Yes, 100%. But the reason he got knocked out was because more so that rebellion was broken, not that he was out of power. That's wrong.
straight by
Like energy,
And to be clear, even the rebellion breaking being the
Means a
massive
less
factor
potent
there is me making more of an
healing
assumption.
factor.
But he didn't need that demonic
Like
power
when
to
he
stay alive.
got knocked out for a month straight by Urizen, only surviving thanks to a constant source of demon blood. Hell,
Yeah, that's objectively wrong. That is an objectively wrong statement. I don't know how that happened. Okay, hang on. Okay, I'm being provided some sources.
Go on.
Okay, so in the Japanese version, this is what it says. So this is a problem with Death Battle not using the correct version for the scan. In place of what Nico says in the English version, it says this. Defeated by the Demon King, he apparently slept for nearly a month. During that time, for some reason, he seems to have been forcibly recharged with magic power by the Clive. Thanks to that, his body recovered beyond its limits and his hair and beard grew quite long. So that is where they are making that position. That doesn't say he needed it to recover, but that's where they're taking it because he was powered and the power let him recover beyond his limits. Okay, so that's where they're getting it from. Obviously that's assuming the worst interpretation of that statement, but at least that's where it comes from, which is fine.
over 10
After his defeat in Devil May Cry, Vergil regeneration took years to complete. Throughout Devil May Cry 5, V would decay without constant use of demonic energy. The more he used it to regenerate, the harder it was for him to heal over time. Okay, so regarding V for a minute, that's not correct.
It didn't take Vergil years to regenerate.
V was not like V doesn't regenerate himself throughout DMC5. Once V gets kicked out of Vergil, he is on a time limit. He knows he's running out of time because he's not a complete being. V wouldn't survive long after DMC5. V's using the. How was that interpretation accepted?
demon regen
Also, when does V actually regenerate?
is how Dante
He doesn't.
killed
He
Vergil.
spends the entire time decaying.
Yeah. When does he regenerate? I'd love to scan for that. Maybe even the manga panel, because it must be in Visions of V. It must be, maybe it's in a Japanese description I'm not aware of.
Unless they're taking gameplay where he enters Devil Trigger the Summon Nightmare.
We really got to have a conversation about
in the
this
first place.
even if we assume Dante could get a second wind, it's always possible Clive could get one too, becoming even stronger from pure willpower, just like when he fought Ultimalius.
So, for as tough and persistent as
No.
Dante was,
What
Clive
you
was
guys are
able
arguing is that he will
to
somehow
endure just that
overcome
much.
a 12. He'll somehow overcome an 11 times universal difference once Dante's in Devil Trigger.
So
Because they
their
don't,
position.
they don't even try to imply that Clive gets over universe or even in Ifrit.
Okay, so
Much more to get
I am upset about some things in this death battle. I think some things were just not like there's lies in here and there's wrong information in here 1,000%. But I can't be that mad when they literally left out a bunch of Dante
the
shit on the
final
table.
edge. The devil was
Like, yeah, you're right. You know what? Let's gimp Dante. I'm sure that'll work
in
fine.
the details, but Clive's victory
This one needed a lot more black boxes, though. I don't know who decides the black box situation, but I feel like there should have been a lot more talked about
is
on black
no
boxes.
fantasy. The
Oh,
winner is
it also
Clive
feels
Rossfield.
like they
Next
purposely
time
didn't
on
talk about POC or even
Death
hint
Battle.
at it.
Yeah. All right, so Ash versus Yugi. Gonna be a solid December matchup.
Subscribe and join as a member.
Well, I can definitely see why so many people have issues with this one. If they don't account for DMC5 Dante being able to open the PlayStation Store and revive himself with real money. They didn't mention Yamato either. Actually, and maybe I'm wrong. Did they give him Yamato in the weapon
No,
section?
no, they did not. I don't know why you're checking. They didn't.
Well, I want to make sure. I don't want to provide misinformation, Kyle. Come on now.
Well,
Hang
you're
on.
not, because I'm telling you, they didn't.
Also, Dante and Ariel, Sir Artemis, Bale, yeah, no Yamato. Okay. So Clive is able
Not
to
even
fight
Yamato
in.
Sharp.
So Clive is able to fight in his icon form. Clive is able to fight in his icon form for 30 minutes. Okay. Or for tens of minutes. Where's the timestamp here for this one? I need the timestamp. It's not in this one. Can I get the whole cutscene, please?
Why don't you just look up walkthrough?
DMC5 walkthrough, no commentary, son of a bitch. Full gameplay walkthrough. Here we go. Hang on, we're trying to get timestamps here. No mentions of Yamato, no mentions of the amulet, no mentions of a lot of things. Yeah, no. Yeah, no, the death battle. I mean, like, ignoring the fact that it'd be wrong for a number of standards, I'm actually just more annoyed that Dante was shafted the
Well,
way he was.
well, you know why they would also have to do it? Because the quick heart gives him a 10 times increase, which would mean that they would be arguing that he couldn't catch Dante, who'd be, what, 111 to 112 times the speed of light?
Yeah, but hang on. Do we have? Well, we'll come back to this time frame later. I don't need this one right now. Hang on. I need the Eurozone fight. There are timestamps in this game for fucking everything. Okay, so 2:01 p.m. June is when the fight starts. So okay, let's write that down. Let's write the number down. Okay, so 2:01 June time starts. We can skip this whole fight. Here we go. Oh no! We get the timestamp for the start of the next mission, right? Or do we get one here? No. Okay, so there we go. No, we get timestamp for when Vergil comes back. I know we do. Okay, so the entire span of the years in fight was an hour. Like bare minute was an hour. Now, granted, let's give some leeway here for minutes. Let's give some leeway here for minutes. So the fight started at 2:01, and the fight officially with Vergil coming back ends at 3:06. Let's assume 6 minutes is how long the fight goes on. Let's assume a 6 minute, not the fight. 6 minutes is how long the discussion between V and all of them goes on. Urizen in his third form is capable of fighting Sin DT Dante. Hang on. Vision to be manga decks is still on here. So done. What chapter is? Oh, did DMC did they lose all the chapters versions of V? No, they didn't. Do you remember what chapter Dante actually fights? Okay, no, it's the one before this one. Nope, that's right. Visions of V had that issue where like multiple people translated it.
I don't know why
And
you
the
use manga
phases into
decks.
Sparta. What?
I don't know why you use manga decks, not just the one I gave you.
They have Visions of V? No, I don't know. Dante fights him in Sin DT. So Dante's able to keep up with someone who can keep up with Sin DT for 50 minutes at bare minimum. That's not even including the timestamp of how long the freaking original fight goes on. Because the original fight. So, time frames given. So 16th of May at 8. Okay. 16 May 08. That's when Nero shows up to the Clive Fault, and Dante's been fighting Urizen for an extended period of time. So if we go to mission, here we go. Okay, so we need a different timestamp because this one is when he's talking to V. Okay, is the timestamp here? 15th of May, 4 o'clock. So Dante shows up the day before, goes to fight Urizen for an extended period of time, and that fight lasts at bare minimum several hours. Because it's only 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and by the time Nero shows up at 8, Dante's still fighting Urizen. No. Okay, let's also go a little further. Because I think there's a timestamp here. So, we have to go at the start of the fight. Here we go. 4 o'clock, June 15th. So, okay. Dante and Vergil both send DT to fly down to the underworld. Okay. So, then, so I believe the first timestamp was at 4, I believe? Or am I wrong? Well, was the original timestamp at 4 that I just mentioned for Nero? I forgot to write it down. Oh, hang on. So here's Nero doing his thing. Still same day, but I believe a few hours have passed at this point. Have we already skipped the Dante? Okay. Do we get a timestamp here? Okay, so I was under the impression we see them on DT 306. Okay, so that one, if it's at 306, Nero is driving back. Hang on. Excuse me. At 6. If let's go back to Nero's cutscene. We can afford to go back. It's fine. It's not a big deal. Okay, so 427 to 6 something. Vergil cutscene, isn't it? Is it the Vergil cutscene? Hang on. Do we get a timestamp here? Okay, yeah. So then they were flying in Sin DT all the way down. Even if we assume Ultima before Dante talking about taking the Yamato, then Dante and Vergil almost finished their fight when Nero's transforming. Okay, hang on. So when Dante said about taking the Yamato. Ah. 404. Okay. So 404 is when the fight starts. And then Nero at 427. Okay, so Dante has been fighting Vergil for about 23 minutes now. So let's give the same time frame. Let's give the time frame for the Vergil and Nero fight. So 404, how many minutes is that? It's like 17 minutes. I'm not sure in balls. No, I think it's 27, right? Okay, 427. So they've been fighting for about 23 minutes. Let's say they've been fighting for 30 minutes. 30 minutes, just to be generous. Okay. So Nero ends the fight. 30 minutes have gone by. So we're at 5 o'clock right now when they turn Sin DT to fly down. They at bare minimum would roughly be at least an hour in Sin DT unless you make bad faith assumptions. An hour and 30 minutes basically of Sin DT. Unless you're making bad assumptions. Unless you're making bad faith assumptions. And considering Clive got all that leeway, that means Sin DT can last for an hour and 30 minutes. No. No. Get out of here when Clive can stay in his form for as long as he wants, and Dante can't do shit. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. Get out of here with the 6-minute fucking bullshit.
You know what they well, I don't know if you caught this. They didn't bring up the fact that Clive gets kicked out of his icon form if he gets tired.
No, they did not bring up the fact that Clive could get kicked out of his icon form if he gets tired. Barnabas, would you like to demonstrate? Hang on, where is it?
God shows you.
Oh, son of a bitch. Is that the end of phase 1? Here we go. I think it's here. Okay, so here's Clive coming after Odin. And here's Odin stabbing Clive with a sword that cuts through space. Clive resisted so casually. He gets stabbed after the fight. And there's Clive knocked out of his icon form.
You have been shown the path. Now you must follow it. Free yourself, Mythos.
Now, there's another time he does it too, and Odin makes fun of him saying that he's tired.
I think it's right here. So, let's look at the context. Clive blocks Odin's attack. Shit. Clive blocks Odin's attack. Absorbs Odin's power.
You dare! Could it be you have made a weapon of your weakness? My apologies.
I think it's around here he says it.
You are not the fool I took you for.
Here's Ifrit.
So it ends.
And here's Clive. Too tired to maintain the icon form.
Don't tell me you are tired, Mythos. Your stubborn defiance has stirred my life.
Yeah, again. So remember that Clive can stay in his form for as long as he wants against other icons. But against the guy he's able to block his attacks from and go blow for blow with, him getting tired doesn't count.
You are tired, Mythos.
I bet you even in the fucking Ultima fight, if I look, he probably gets fucking knocked out of that icon form.
No, because Titan gets knocked out of his form too.
That's an exhausted version that lasted for an hour. Devil Trigger technically does not have a time limit. We all assume there's a time limit because he says it. Look, it's not that Clive won. It's that assumptions are made in favor of Clive that are not given to Dante, and Dante is scrutinized to hell and back. Dante doesn't get his full arsenal. They leave out key items that would probably have swayed the fight in Dante's favor, and they ignore a massive number of his passive abilities. They make no reference to his skills.
They also didn't talk about Clive having the same weakness of being tired and getting knocked out of his icon form. They gave him so much benefit of the doubt. This is a situation where Clive didn't win. Dante just lost. Because make no mistake, because even by their own research and the stats that they give at the end, Dante won on paper.
Massive omissions on Dante's side, and Clive was given the benefit of the doubt on all of his scaling and then some. They also didn't include the quintillion speed calculations and only said that it was vaguely going to be inferior to whatever they provided for Dante.
From what they've demonstrated, Dante was massively faster than him because I don't care how you want to look at it. 3 times light speed compared to 11 times is still a massive margin. That is still several light speed times over. Even if Clive was 10 times light speed, Dante would still be blitzing him because he's still got a light speed amount of speed ahead of him.
The fact that the champ fight wasn't brought up for the massive skill gap between Clive and Dante, and neither was what's his name? Silver. Yeah.
Neither were the apprentices of Sparta.
Nope. See, because here's the problem. Even if you believing all this is equal, let's say it's all equal, the way they're saying it. Dante's skill blows Clive out of the water with more consistent concrete feats. Even if Clive can last longer in the fight, he's never fought someone with Dante's skill level before. Unless, of course, you want to provide me with some Barnabas upscaling.
Well, it's also the fact of, like, by their own logic, of the speed increase that Dante would get in Devil Trigger, because Devil Trigger is also a strength increase, they have also just basically said it without saying that Dante got to 11 times, like, universal, while they kept Clive, even in Ifrit Risen, at base uni.
Yep.
Which means, by their own logic, Dante not only blitzed Clive, he would one-shot him.
All right. So, final verdict? I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. There were, knowing the characters, there was so much wrong and so much omitted for this death battle. I can in good consciousness say it was a good death battle. The fight animation is fine, though. I think it was probably the best we were going to get, given, you know, the resources.
Also, like, let's take our knowledge out of this impartially. If you were just to watch this episode, and if you knew nothing about either character, there is no way you're walking away from this thinking Clive won.
I'm going to be more charitable than Kyle, and I can say, based on just the information provided, I can see why some people assume the fight goes to Clive's favor. But
no, because of the ending. Because of the ending of the 11 times light speed difference, which would also be
that's based on charging up the attack. Because remember, only Omega gets universal scaling in all of his attacks, despite needing to charge up for like what? Actually, fuck that. Before we leave, I'm going to show that real fast.
Actually, before we leave, don't forget to show the ending of the Ultima and Typhoon fights.
Hang on. Omega F16. Hey, hang on. Let me show you guys what they're scaling. Hang on. Let me show you what they're scaling to all of Ultima's abilities. Right, so this scales to Uni completely. Remember this. This is their argument. Now, how long does this Uni attack take to fire?
Why can't I breathe? Because it's constricting all of creation. Well then, we better kill it quick. Clive, we're running out of room. Just keep fighting.
Any day now, Omega. Omega, any day now. Omega, you're universal, bro. Omega, create a universe, please. Hang on. He needs to charge up some more, guys. I'm showing you guys the full length of time. I want you guys to see how long this attack takes to fucking fire. I want you guys to see what they're saying is equal to Mundus. It actually takes longer than I thought. I thought this was only going to take about 30 or 40 seconds. I didn't realize it was 2 whole fucking minutes. Guys, he's still charging up. Chat, he's getting there. They did not bring up Fury. Omega's in a DLC. Chat, he's getting there. Just another full fucking minute. This is it. This is Jesus. I did not think it was this long. Also, as you notice, he's compressing the space. So again, destroying's a bit weird. Okay, seriously, how long? When does the countdown start? Okay, guys, I was being cheeky at first, but like this is actually way fucking longer than I thought it was gonna be. No, this I have to show the full context, otherwise it doesn't work. Okay, you can see the ground being warped away. Initiating Omega Protocol in 5. Okay, finally we're getting to the Omega Protocol. Okay.
They're dead, by the way.
GTA 6 before Omega finishes the charge.
Yeah, before you
Risen is fine.
Yeah, before you close that down, so they know that we're not lying about like Clive waking up after the Typhoon fight from being inside a fucking mental dimension.
Okay. Okay, so they're about to destroy the crystal. Ramuh's over here being a beast. Something comes out of a portal, to be fair. Strikes Ramuh. Typhoon. Something's going wrong with Clive. Ramuh hits the guy who shot him. And without touching... Oh, wait. Did you see that?
Yeah, the wave.
Yeah, he takes something from
That's
Clive.
consciousness.
Wait, hold
He's
on. You can
taking
see
his
it in his hand.
consciousness with him. His physical body stays there. He's taking his consciousness.
I didn't even realize that. Okay, so Clive is in the rift right now, the interdimensional rift. Okay. I didn't even fucking notice that the first time I saw it. So Ifrit wants to fight like a Chad. Clive is just there, a more suitable vessel. A ripple occurs. And Clive is back on the floor.
Now wait
His
for
body
it.
never left.
Wait for it. Sid says something.
Oh, hang on.
Well, enjoy your nap.
Wow, I completely
He
forgot.
never fucking leaves. Now the Ultima one.
Okay, so this was required. I didn't even fucking realize Typhoon yanked something from him. Holy shit! Now hang on. Okay, this one's gonna require a little bit of not setup, but I need to find the exact moment. Give me a second.
I got this old thing.
Yeah, no, get out of here. Get out of here. It's his consciousness. Best case scenario, it's his soul. Best case scenario, but that's never stated. Okay, let me get here. Sorry. Okay. Joshua's being a fraud. Okay, there. So Joshua dies, but this is not the Ultima's over here getting his brother back. Ultima's getting amped. Joshua gives Clive the power of the Phoenix, I believe, at this point. Clive should get Ifrit Risen, though. I disagree with not giving him Ifrit Risen. He gets it when he gets the Phoenix back. That shouldn't be up for contention. Okay. After this, we'll call it there for the stream. So there's Ultima to empty the vessel. You want to know, I just realized sucking in Clive's consciousness emptied his vessel. Sorry for the seizure. Okay, so he enters the same location he fought Typhoon. Kiyomiya and Typhoon did not create the location. And this is the end of the Ultima fight. Now, hold on. You're thinking to yourself, Clive's in a different location. Obviously, this is a different space. So it was clearly a universe's creator. They moved somewhere, right? So this is the end of the fight. This is still within the Interdimensional Rift. The Interdimensional Rift fades away. And Clive is back in the same area. Nothing's changed. The only argument you can make this time is that Clive is standing versus kneeling near Joshua. So, I have no beef with anyone who scales Clive to Universal. I think it's wrong. But let's be clear here. This shit is iffy. And if this was for Dante, he wouldn't have gotten this shit. It's that simple. I'm not trying to be a dick about it. If anyone knows Final Fantasy 16 and would like to discuss it with me further, feel free to comment down below. I do have a Discord with the same name. It has my OCs on it. Beyond that, Kyle, was there anything else you'd like to say?
Nothing else to say. He doesn't get the universal.
Yeah. So, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for your time as always. Have a nice day. I'll see you guys on the next streamer video. Take care, everybody. And I suspect we will be doing a video about this more in depth later on. Shut the fuck up, Jeremy. I know you're being a cute little fucking. I know you got that shitty grin on your face. All right. Take care, everybody. All of you guys have a nice night.